Also at the Green Chamber, the lawmakers called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to extend the deadline for its new Naira policy to the 31st of July 2023. A 14-member ad hoc committee led by House Leader Al-Hassan Adodogowa is to meet with the managing directors of commercial banks who complained of shortage of the new Naira note and the central bank governor. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa reports.
In October 2022, the Central Bank of Nigeria announced plans to redesign 1,000, 500 and 200 Naira notes. This was designed to improve the security of banknotes, control currency in circulation, mitigate counterfeiting, and reduce the overall cost of currency management. But many Nigerians see the move as one of the measures by the government to check outflow of funds, especially ahead of the 2023 general election. But while many citizens applaud the policy, there is concerns about the non-availability of the new Naira notes, which became legal tender on December 15. Barely 1 week to the deadline of currency swap, lawmakers lament the new Naira notes are not in circulation. Rising on a matter of urgent public importance, Katsina member Sada Soli says the current swap should be phased within 1 year.
Bulk Nigerian economy is driven by SME and petty traders. Therefore, there is need for some review of the policy. Sensitization is required, and this sensitization does not only involve CBN. Government should be involved. The clergy should be involved.
Other members are also in support of an extension of the January 31st deadline.
If on 31st January, this currency swap is going to be stopped and the old currency is going to be more or less a tissue paper, definitely we have a lot to lose, especially in the Northeast sub-region and Borno State in particular.
Because of the reasons CBN are adduced to, I would say that rather than 1 year, we'll reduce it to 6 months.
A bill by Edo lawmaker Sergio Ogun to amend the Fiscal Responsibility Act and another seeking to establish the Federal College of Agriculture, Okanafon, in Akwa Ibom State, sponsored by Ibom, passed second reading.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Fiscal Responsibility Act be read for a second time.
A bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture, Okanafon, Akwa Ibom State, be read for a second term.
7 bills, including the one seeking to enhance the functions of the National Center for Women Development and rename it after former First Lady Miriam Babangida of blessed memory, were read for the 3rd time. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says its 31st of January 2023 deadline for the validity of the old 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes remains. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele announced this after the Apex Bank's Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja on Tuesday. The CBN also raised the monetary policy rate, which measures interest rate, to 17.5%. Mr. Emefiele said kidnapping and ransom taking have reduced since the 3 banknotes were redesigned. He also said the time given for the swap of the old notes with new ones were enough for Nigerians to go to commercial banks and get new notes. The Apex Bank also launched a cash swap program nationwide to enable those in the unbanked areas to exchange their old notes for new Naira notes before the deadline. Elsewhere, President Muhammadu Buhari has formally inaugurated the first phase of the 13-kilometer Lagos Rail Mass Transit Blue Line Rail from Marina to Mile 2 and witnessed the flag-off of the second phase of the project from Mile 12 to Okokomaiko. Senior correspondent Adetoja Salam Adeni reports.
Lagos road traffic is next to the air residents breathe. To reduce road congestion and make the state economically competitive, the integrated mass transportation system must work. The train is one of the long-term solutions. Aside from the water transportation, rail is very crucial to moving passengers from one end to another in a mega city like Lagos of 30 million people. The 27-kilometer-long Blue Line Rail connecting Okokomaiko to Marina can move 500,000 passengers daily. And that is what President Muhammadu Buhari is in Lagos to inaugurate on his second-day working visit.
The benefits, Mr. President, are obvious. It will reduce travel time, it will improve the quality of life of our citizens, and it will make Lagos one of the most resilient mega cities, not only in Africa, but it will compete with other mega cities in the world. This iconic marina station that we're hosting here today will be the largest and the busiest in Africa. It has the capacity to process about 400 to 450 passengers every 1 minute, meaning in an hour, this station can process about 25,000 passengers. Watch us as we sign the ceremony for the phase 2 of the project.
A visionary leader, Ashwaju Tinubu, pioneered the idea of the Lagos Blue Line and many other revolutionary initiatives. The Tinubu administration then developed what is called the Strategic Transport Master Plan, which laid out the foundation for a network of robust and modern transportation infrastructure befitting a 21st century city such as Lagos.
Funded by the Lagos State government, the Blue Line Rail consists of 11 stations spanning 27 kilometers and powered by electricity from its own independent power plants.
You cannot, under any circumstance, cross the tracks, because if you do, it will be fatal. It's not a matter of cold or May. So, and as a responsible government, we have fenced off the whole alignment, signage along the track, along the fencing. Do not cross, danger, electrified tracks. It's all along.
President Buhari also joined the state government officials for a train ride. The Blue Line Rail project ends Mr. President's visit to Lagos that is tagged a festival of project commissioning. Other projects inspected and inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari include the Lekki Deep Sea Port, the 32 metric tons per hour Lagos Rice Mill at Imota, the John Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History, and the private sector projects. Adidoja Salamadini, TVC News, Lagos.
Begin from the nation's capital, where the Nigerian Senate wants the Central Bank of Nigeria to extend the deadline for implementation of the new Naira note policy by 6 months. This resolution was reached following a point of order moved by Akwa State lawmaker Senator Sadiq Umar. National Assembly correspondent TJ Swadeoye has more.
The CBN's deadline to phase out the old Naira notes is fast approaching, and many Nigerians are groaning under the impact of this new policy, and they worry over the effect it has on their daily lives. The National Assembly has consistently appealed to the Apex Bank to reconsider its decision and extend the deadline to avert any hardship it may have on the people. At today's plenary session, the lawmakers are more emphatic on their position on the matter and insist the Apex Bank must extend its deadline, as its decision must always consider the citizens.
Mr. President, let me say to you, in my constituency, especially in my local government, 90% of the people have not seen the new notes at all. They have not had a glimpse of the new notes.
It's not about changing this money. The new notes are not available. They are not available. The first and the last time I saw the new note was from the distinguished Senator Olujimi. She showed me the note. I have been withdrawing from the bank ever since, but they have never given me one single new note. So you should stand firm on this on behalf of the Senate and the National Assembly.
The Nigerian Senate says it is still within its purview to ensure that the rights and interests of the people are protected at all costs, and it will stand against any decision that suppresses the voice of the people in a democracy.
The people that may have billions would have nothing to lose. But those who have the least are the ones that could easily lose. And this can be an economic matter, but it could also eventually transform into a security issue.
The Senate has now directed the CBN to extend the deadline of its new policy to the 31st of July 2023.
The National Assembly may be heading for a showdown with the Central Bank of Nigeria over the fast-approaching deadline to phase out the old Naira notes. TJ Swadeoye, TVC News, Abuja.